Hey folks, Dagan here, and today I'm here to teach you 8 of the scariest sounds you can make on an electric guitar. So it's the middle of October right now when I'm shooting this video, so spooky season is in full swing. Hence my friend Davey right here.
What up?
So I thought it's a perfect opportunity to show you guys some very interesting, weird, wacky and wonderful techniques, or sounds let's say, that you can get out of your regular electric guitar. Some of them are for the beginners out there, some of them are for the more experienced guitar players. And with that, if you already know some of these, sorry about that. But more importantly, if I've missed any, please comment down below, because I might do a version 2 of this. We all know the weird, scary effects you get when you plug your guitar into crazy pedals and stuff. All the weird, wacky and wonderful accoutrements you can get to, like EBOs and stuff. There's none of that in this video, it's just straight up your hands, guitar, amplifier. Some of the sounds do require a tremolo though. Ideally, in some cases, a double locking tremolo, simply because it stays in tune a bit more, but I'll talk about that more on that specific technique. But all in all, it's just you, the guitar, amplifier. Reverb and delay do help a bit as well. Because it is fun making these weird sounds, like shredding on stage and sweep pick until your heart's content is great, but that turns the heads of half the crowd. When you make a weird noise that no one's expecting on a guitar that guitar's not supposed to make, like a sound a guitar's not supposed to make, I should say, that turns more heads, front to the back of the room. So let's get into it. Now this first scary sound is one of my all-time favorite things to do on an electric guitar, and you actually need to know how to do this for a technique later on in this video. It's the humble dive bomb. Now you can do it with any guitar with a tremolo, even a Bigsby if you want to try your hand at that. But I highly recommend doing it with a double locking tremolo, either a Floyd Rose system or an Ibanez Edge, which is fully floating. So you can get the pitch back, as opposed to just down, even though of course that does work. And with the double locking system, everything stays in tune nicely. And here's how I do them. So there's actually 2 very popular different ways of getting the dive bomb effect. I'm going to teach them both in this video, but they both center around natural or artificial harmonics. Now, if you don't know how to do artificial harmonics, think of the whole Jimi Hendrix, that kind of thing, or you might have seen people tune up with that kind of thing. You basically rest your finger over the metal part of the fret, and the best frets to achieve the crazy dive bomb squeals are the 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th, basically anywhere there's a dot, or the 12th, or in this case a sin, of the G and the B strings. So don't play the actual note, I can hear I'm on the 5th fret. Gently rest the pad of your finger over the metal fret itself and pick the notes on the G and the B. Play one note at a time with some gain. Or play 2 notes at once. And when you've got that harmonic flying, simply mess with the bar. Like single notes sound great, but when you hear 2, like you just heard there, you get that funky dissonance when the bar dips the guitar down in pitch. Like both frequencies kind of fight with each other. So that's the picking way of doing a dive bomb. The other way, you don't need a pick, and this is what Steve Vai does and Dimebag Darrell, where having a floating tremolo where you can go up in pitch is kind of crucial. What you want to do to achieve the effect in the best way is flip the bar around. You're going to want to pull off either that G or B string that I was talking about before, and then drop it. When the strings are flapping around, tap the natural harmonic wherever you want it. So 3rd fret, 5, 7, 9, 12, whatever, on the G or the B, after that pull off when the strings are all flat. I think Dimebag called it letting the damsel fall and then grabbing her just before she hits the ground. So drop the bar backwards, pull off whatever string you want to hit the harmonic on, tap the harmonic, pull it up, and then you're good to go. The craziest dive bombs, which are guaranteed to turn heads in the crowd. Now the next scary sound is a little simpler, but just as spooky. You also need a tremolo for this one as well. I've heard Joe Satriani call this his lizard lick, and it goes like this. What the hell's happening there? I'll show you. So this one has less of a wow effect like a dive bomb. It's more, how on earth is that happening with your guitar? Basically, what you want to do with your fretting hand is start, in this case I'm starting on the first fret of the G string, just slide up that single string. But at the same time, drop the bar in pitch. And what the aim is, to maintain that same note that you started with. So in this case, the first fret of the G string. So the drop on the bar is counteracting the raise in pitch while sliding up the fingerboard, and you get that funky juttering effect when you're sliding over the frets. I suppose you can even do it with chords as well if you want. It's a weird, wacky and wonderful sound which is guaranteed to make guitar players think. Now the next scary sound is one of the easiest of the bunch. All you need is a piece of metal, which is why it's handy if you've got a tremolo, because you can just pull the trem arm out of your guitar. And this is the old Herman from Dragon Force technique. Just turn up the guitar with some gain, get your piece of metal, and it's Herman Lee's famous PACMAN noise. Either go back and forth or up and down. If you do that at the end of a song, no matter how fast you can shred, everyone's going to go, what the hell is he doing there? Even if you haven't got a tremolo, just take anything you want, anything metal-wise, like if you've got a bad monkey. Just get one of them and just give it some. It's definitely one of the weirdest, wackiest, and most wonderful sounds you can get out of electric guitar without even really trying. And if you're curious where to get a pedal to do those crazy sounds with, if you haven't got a tremolo arm or a guitar with a tremolo arm, I'd encourage you to check out today's video sponsor and indeed this channel sponsor, Anderton's. I'll put my entire signal chain in the description box down below so you can check it all out at Anderton's. Anderton's need little to no introduction. They're the world's biggest and best music store, and I mean that as well because they ship worldwide. From guitars, basses, amplifiers, effects, PA systems, pianos, drum kits, things that flash and make noise, and everything in between. They support me a lot on this channel by being big fans of the crazy stuff I do, from gear demos to videos like this. So if you wouldn't mind, description box down below, help me out by helping them and checking out all the gear I'm recommending just down there. And next up for scary sounds, we have the little noise I made in the intro of this video, which is again one of my favorite noises to make on guitar. I got it from Edward Van Halen. It's his famous elephant noise, which could be construed as a ghost or a ghoul wailing, and it's this. I'm being a bit more aggressive with the higher harmonics in this as opposed to what Eddie does to make it sound like an elephant, but that's more elephant-y, I guess. It's really interesting. Here's how you do it. So like I showed you earlier with Divebombs, this is that essentially, but in a very specific way that Edward does. So again, don't actually fret the note. Rest the pad of your finger over the metal fret itself and then pluck the note. And the specific notes for this, while the volume is down on your guitar, is the 5th fret of the G, 7th of the B, and the 12th fret of the high E string. And you get a lovely dissonance. Which is spooky in itself, I guess, but when you tie it in with what Edward does, it becomes very special. So have the volume down on your guitar, play those harmonics, and then what we want to do is raise the volume with your right hand while bringing your left hand under the neck of the guitar, dropping the bar and raising the bar as you turn the volume up. To get like an elephant raising his trunk kind of vibe. So all together, I mean, you haven't got to do the action just kind of comes naturally with it, but... And then drop the bar back down, roll the volume down to give it the full effect. Again, it's Eddie's legendary elephant sound, but it sounds a bit like a ghost or a ghoul, doesn't it? Now next up for scary sounds, I'm gonna get my Tom Morello on. This one is playing parts of the guitar which aren't supposed to be played. I know it sounds a bit daft, but I've seen it used so wonderfully in like some experimental rock and stuff when it's dripping in delay and reverb, and because of that, it can get very spooky. Like for example, take the tremolo springs on the back of your guitar. Those guys right here. Get your pick, and as you would pick scrape your guitar, they naturally have a bit of reverb in anyways. You might have heard when you play a Strat through a clean amp with no reverb. These springs reverberate at the back. If you're going for spooky sounds on some kind of, I don't know, spooky record or experimental stuff, you don't need to get plugins or anything, just experiment with the tremolo springs on the back of your guitar. Other parts of your guitar that shouldn't be played are the parts between the bridge and the tailpiece. These little bits here. Very interesting sounds there, and also up at the headstock as well, past the nut before it gets to the tuning pegs. This sounds like piano wire. Now next up we have something to make your traditional power chords sound spookier than ever. And we've got legends like Tony Iommi to thank for that. It's the inverted power chord, or the fifth power chord, or the backwards power chord, whatever you want to call it. So you go from 2 it's so easy and so dark. So they're mostly done with power chords on the A and D strings. D power chord right there on the 5th fret and the 7th fret of the A and D. And all you want to do is get your first finger and also play the low E string, the same fret as what you're fretting on the A string. It's bloody brilliant. So with traditional power chords, you play the root, the 5th, and the octave of the root. That octave's in there. But instead of octaving the root, if you octave the 5th and keep the root in there as well, you still get that root chord coming through. So it is still a D, but you get that power of the low E string absolutely belting through with that 5th. It can be used subtly, it can be used not so subtly, it's up to you, but it's dark and wonderful. Now next up we have another weird sound from the legend that is Edward Van Halen. It's his famous horse noise, which sounds like a horse whinnying or whatever you call it, but it can be heard as a scream, if you wanted to. Yeah, if you play that in a dark room, someone's going to get a fright. They're not going to go, oh, there's a horse over there. Here's how to do it. So it's not too dissimilar to the sound you get with a dive bomb, but it's a different tonality with a pinch harmonic. And that's exactly what it is, a pinch harmonic. On the G string, either the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th frets. Eddie did them everywhere. But I do on the 4th fret. So you can go straight from an A to straight into it. So pinch harmonic, if you don't know how to do a pinch harmonic, they're quite hard things to master, but easy things in context. Hold the pick, it's not going to focus, down as close as you can get to the nib. And for this reference, I'm on the 9th fret of the A string. And basically pick as hard as you can while muting the rest of the strings. That's not a pinch harmonic, but you can hear a pinch harmonic somewhere in that mush. You can hear the right frequency trying to jump out. So once you pick it really hard, naturally when you pick hard, the pad of your thumb, just under your nail, hits against the string just after you picked it. Then it's your job to slowly rotate your wrist to find the perfect balance between thumb hitting the string, pick hitting the string, and overall attack to make that pinch harmonic jump out. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, 4th fret of the G string. Give it a pinch harmonic, but most importantly, give it a bend up in pitch. And that's what makes this really stand out. Like a horse rearing up, but when it's up there at the top of the pitch, drop the bar, lowering the pitch, and give it some jitters on the way down as well. To give that horsey kind of scream vibe. Terrifying. Now last but certainly not least, we have the most interesting of the bunch. All you need for this is a guitar, with or without a tremolo, an amplifier, some distortion, and your phone. A lot of people don't realize that guitar pickups are in essence microphones. They're all designed in the same kind of way. So, if you do play something on your phone and put the speaker up to the pickup,
Get a jolt from my electrode. They did the mom's command.
it'll play anything through your pickup. That's all I'm going to play right now because copyright will take this video down. But in essence, if you hold anything up that makes noise to a guitar pickup through a distorted amp, it will come through distorted and reverby or however you've got your amp set up. Even something stupid like...
Now, Big Joe and Epiphone and Gibson have done so many collaborations over the years, and they're always limited edition for that year.
Terrifying hearing me distorted through a... Shut up! Through a Schecter into a PV. Oh, and you can even, if you're loud enough... It's just a microphone. Just a microphone, that's all you need. And if that isn't scary, I don't know what is. So, ladies and gents, thanks for watching. Comment down below your favorite spooky sound. If I've missed any out, or if you want any more extra tips on how to play any of the things I've showed you in this video, I'd be happy to reply. Thanks again to Anderton for sponsoring this video, and again, everything is linked in the description box just down there. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe too. I've been Dagan. I'll see you next time.